Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got an absolute fantastic show coming your way today. We got a very, very good friend of mine that I've been knowing close to 13 years, and this friend of mine. I tell you, I have learned so much from him. And he's an incredible, incredible man of God. uh, Honesty, integrity, and ethics. He lives by it. He teaches it. He dream it. He instill it. This man right here, I tell you, one of the best friends I have on this earth. And I believe in this guy. I trust this guy. I love this guy. I love the quality and capabilities that he has shaped in young men and women that I have watched grow up from knee high to a grasshopper and then develop into outstanding and superb human beings. And Michelle, without me giving away his name right now, because I know you're gonna beat me up if I give too much of your thunder away. So what are your thoughts on this young man?
Well, he's been on our show before and he has a lot, and we've seen him in action. We've really seen him in action when we used to live in, when we used to go to the school that he does coach. We see him talk to his players to inspire them, motivate them. And really, that's how the title of the show came to be, because we remember a specific speech that this gentleman communicated to his football players. And so I always remember the speech, and he just did it so eloquently, and it really is inspiring and motivating. So, well, the title of the show is called "What Does It Mean to Be a Pro in Life on and Off the Field?" But I remember that speech. He talked to his players about what does it mean to be a pro, and I really loved it. Do you remember that speech he gave to his players?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember. I don't remember. I remember several speeches because I was there.
Mhm.
Well, what he gave to his players, not just his players. Uh, he'd been at a few of our inspirational breakfasts, remember? And he
Mhm.
come and he talk about what it takes to become a pro, how to remain a pro. When you, the minute that you discover that you are a pro,
Mhm.
that you have to remain a pro in every way possible. And so, I hope he talk about this once he come on. But uh, he also talks about what it takes and when it takes to become um, your own person. Discover your own person.
Mhm.
Discover the beliefs and the confidence and courage that you have in you. So this young man right here is absolutely fantastic. And I tell you what, Michelle, without giving away, let me tell our viewers and our listeners. I know that you got a platform of choice and you're watching it on several different platforms and listen to radio and everything. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, StreamYard, E360 TV, Transfer TV, and over 35 other different platforms, and become part of the show. So without any further ado, Michelle, can you please tell our viewers and our listeners the title of the show, purpose of the show, and get me this great man on television?
Well, yes. Well, the title of the show again is "What Does It Mean to Be a Pro in Life on and Off the Field?" And we're getting to know Linfield High School football coach and former NFL player, Coach Dechon Burns. And we're going to talk about his philosophy on what it means to be a pro in life, and talk about goal setting, being adaptable to change, and also changing your mindset, embracing challenges. So let's talk a little bit about this guest today. He's been on our show before. Coach Burns attended Rubino High School, where he was 3-year varsity football starter as running back and defensive back. He then wanted to further his athletic career at the University of Southern California as a defensive back. Coach Burns made the transition to coaching beginning at Beverly Hills High School and later moved on to coach at Bishop Ahmad High School for 6 years. He then went on to coach at the University of Florida and advanced to the NFL as the assistant defensive line special teams coach for the Washington Redskins, where he coached Hall of Famers Bruce Smith, Darrell Green, and Champ Bailey. He has also also coached for the San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, Texas Southern University, and University of Texas at El Paso, UFL, Sacramento Lions, and many, many more. He strives to develop and coach a brand of football that brings honor and glory to God at an extremely competitive level that will produce championship caliber results. He enjoys the ability to coach in an environment that allows an open love for the Lord and considers his development of young men on and off the field as a blessing. He has coached 3 children: Lorenzo, class of 2016, Simeon, class of 2017, and Jalen, class of 2020. Please welcome back to the show, Coach Dechon Burns.
Coach Dechon, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me. The Honorable Dr. James Cooley and the Honorable Mrs. Michelle Cooley. I appreciate it greatly for the invite. Thank you so very much. Good seeing you guys.
Well, you know what, Coach? I tell you, man, it's always a pleasure having you on. You already know that, man. I mean, you're my brother. I mean, you're my brother. You know, I
Yes, sir.
watched you grow over the last 13 years and change lives, so many lives, and develop character. I'm talking about instill deep, honest integrity and character in our young and men and women. One thing that I want our viewers and our listeners know that it's 3 generations of Burns football here.
Yeah.
Coach, I believe that you played for your dad.
Yes, sir. I did. I played for my father, Ernest Burns, in Rubidoux High School, and then even in junior tackle. He was a head coach for me in junior tackle with the Rupa Steelers. Shout out to the Rupa Steelers. And then he went on to coach at Rubidoux High School. I was on the team, but I did not play for him. He didn't coach my position, but he was on the staff, and I did have the honor and privilege of playing for my father, playing on the team that my father was a part of the coaching staff. Yes, I did.
And your 3 beautiful kids, man, you know I watched them grow up, man.
Yes, sir.
And I'm so proud of them. So proud of them. And actually, you got your 2 young men. Your 2 sons are playing professional football right now. You know, so
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Thank you.
how does it feel, first of all, to know that the thing that you instill, not just in your kids, and the things that your father instilled into you pass them on, and that light is still going, Coach. That light is still lit. How does it feel to be able to pass that and see the legacy continue?
I think that my wow moment came when I was able to see my boys play, obviously at the pinnacle of their profession, each one of them. Obviously Lorenzo having a shot to have an opportunity with the Cardinals when he first came out of college, and then to the Jaguars, and then obviously he would spend 2 years in the USFL and now with the Browns. Watching that and seeing that come to fruition, and knowing that he would talk with my father at times when my father was still alive. He would talk with my dad about his dreams and aspirations, and see those come to fruition. And it's kind of crazy is that the day he got picked up with the Cardinals, my father's favorite bird was a cardinal. And my dad had passed like a little bit before that, like the year before, and he wasn't there. So it was a God thing, you know. Lorenzo gets picked up by the Cardinals. My dad's favorite bird is a cardinal. He's there watching him go through the trenches, if you will, and the struggles of the professional game, and this whole facet of the morals and values that my dad's instilled in us or in me. And then he would often talk to my boys about was huge. And then obviously to see that manifest through Simeon, and the fact that Simeon finished just last season at Chowan University, and then had some workouts and was picked up in the Arena League with the Tucson Sugar Skulls and finished the season there. They made it to the playoffs. And just to watch those same traits show up in Simeon, that the countless hours that my dad would kind of talk to him about just being all in and being fully committed to playing and giving everything you have to the time at hand and where you're at, and not trying to count your chickens before your eggs are hatched and putting the cart before the horse, but being in the moment and being fully in the moment. And just to watch that manifest was a wow moment for me. Like, I had to look up to the sky, shed a tear, and just, Thank my dad and his supporting cast, like family members and community such as yourself and your wife, for all the things that were poured into him and them.
Hey, Coach, I tell you, you have given me an opportunity to open up a couple of seasons, your seasons, with your players, and every time that you bestow that honor on me, that let me know that you trust me.
Yes.
Of course, I trust you, and I trust the community. I trust all of these things, but seeing all of the flowers that you planted blossom, it's a lot more than your two sons, Greg Hope. It's the list goes on and on and on and on. I'm talking about very, very good, respectable young man, great character. How does that feel to you to know that? And you know what, Coach? I'm gonna tell you. I watched your practices. I was out there with you, and you don't play. You don't play, man. To know that they might have been mad or pissed or whatever at the time, but they look at the coach today and they like, oh, thank you for not allowing us to quit. Thank you for instilling this faith and confidence that we can do these things, and they see how life turned out. How you feel about it?
Well, I think that anytime you're called to coach, it's a calling, and it's a blessing. It's a gift from God. So you can't take that lightly. And I think in this day and age, if I can be very honest and very transparent, I think there's an abuse of that, of the position, to these young folks, these young athletes that want to make it, right? They want to go off and further their careers academically and athletically by way of scholarship. And not a lot of truth is told to them, or they're being pressed to persevere through things that aren't going to be easy. So we have a couple mantras here at our place where it's TTP, trust the process. You don't got to understand it, but you just got to trust it. And it's not for you to understand. The process is the process. The standard is the standard, and it will remain that way. So if you want to reap the benefits of the ones that came before you, then there's a standard in which they followed. Here's the process in which it took to get to the standard. And if you are trying to be where they're at, then you got to fall in line and do what you got to get done. And there is no quit. You can't tap out. There's no quitting. You can't quit. In life, things will get hard. I can't quit on my family. I can't quit on the job. I can't quit when there's $20 in the bank and it's the middle of the month and my baby needs groceries and everything else. I can't quit. So the reality is that you have to persevere. And so that's what they learn. And it's not even about X's and O's, JC. It's just about the maturation of the mindset and them growing and pushing through adversity. And if they stay with it, good things happen for them on and off the field.
It does. I tell you what, Coach, hold that thought. We got to take a station break. Man, I'm so glad that you and I are having this conversation. I miss you, Coach. I miss you, Coach.
Miss you too, man.
Yeah, so I tell you what, as you already see, we got a lot more in store coming your way. And if you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're watching and listening to this on, all you have to do is just go to the comments. Ask this great man any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a
to get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, this young man right here, I call him young because I'm a few years older than he is. I mean, every time that I get an opportunity to talk with him or be around him, I learn so much and just inspired with the confidence, courage, hope, belief, and faith that he has. And his ability to teach and lead our youth and young adults that he coaches, not just that, but the parents as well. I have seen this man in action many, many times, and I know the parents of some of the kids that he has coached, and I tell you, if you think I'm excited about the things that he have done in their child lives, they are equally excited as well. But the most important thing, I believe, is when the kids, and we call them kids at the time, young men, young women, grow up, go to college or whatever they decide to do, and they come back because they understood all the sweat, tears, screams, grunts that they endured to develop this thing called character and to develop these things called stickability and to be able to move forward in every step of the way. They look at this absolutely magnificent man, Coach Dechon Burns. And he is continually influencing and developing lives. And it's just an absolute pleasure just being able to call this man my friend. So, hey, Coach, with that being said, I have watched you, I've seen you, I have a lot of other things, your speeches, etc. What makes Coach Burns, meaning the man that you are today, and why it just every day you try to get better and better and better and better and better? Why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about that?
Well, and that comes from Ernest and Shirley Burns. That's the bottom line. My father was my hero, is my best friend. I didn't always understand that growing up. He was, in the military, served in the service in the Air Force, and he was a correctional officer from Mississippi. Excuse me, I'm at school, so I do appreciate. I apologize for the background noise, but he was in the military, and had a military background. Grew up in Mississippi, in Hazelhurst, Mississippi. My mother grew up in Edwards or Utica, as they call it, Mississippi, and they just come from a family of 11 and 9, and they're all hardworking. And quitting wasn't an option. Stopping wasn't an option. My parents challenged me to be the best version of me at all times, and so I needed to be my best version of me in the classroom. They encouraged me to be active in ASB and Principals Advisory Council and the Future Business Leaders of America, and not be labeled just as a jock. Truth be told, my mother, she wasn't really fond of the sport. She just said, if you're going to compete, you better go hard. Don't lose, do not do your best. That's what my mother would tell me. I remember scoring a touchdown when I was a junior tackle, and she told me, a good job, way to get a home run. I was like, Ma, that's a touchdown, Ma. And she said, okay, well, how are your grades? That was important to her. My father was just, look, you got to go hard every rep. You got to be your very best. And whatever your very best looks like, as long as you can go to sleep at night and know that you gave everything you had and you left it on the table, can't be upset. So that's just the culture I grew up in, and my friends and the circle and the people that I was blessed enough to be coached by, they held me to the same standard. And then my friends, the same. My teammates were the same. High school coach Wayne Cochran, may he rest in peace. Coach Cochran passed away a few years ago before my father. Very instrumental. He brought commitment, courage, and class, which is our high school mantra. He brought that to us. And you just quitting, stopping is not an option. Like you go until you can't breathe. You go until your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth, and then you find a way to get it done. And so we just utilize that all throughout my life, with many challenges that are going to come up, because they're not on the football field, right? Academically, occupationally, spiritually, relationally, you will get challenged. And stopping is not an option, because one thing is for sure, if you stop, you'll never obtain it. So you got to keep your eyes on the prize and keep shooting at the goal, right? So my mother and father were very big on that. Just whatever you do your best. Be your very best. Go hard. Do not look at a situation and think, well, the shoulda, couldas are bigger than the wouldas. Can't have that. That's not okay. Shoulda, couldas can't be bigger than the wouldas. So I should have did this. I could have did that. Well, if you would have done this, you would have done that. So the wouldas got to be bigger than the shoulda, couldas. And that's how we move. That's how we move in the Burns household and with our team.
You know, Coach, that's your style. That's all of our style, and we have to instill this into other people so they can create their own style, and discover their purpose.
Yes.
And so, Coach, the title of the show is "What Does It Mean to Be a Pro in Life, On and Off the Field?" A lot of people, they probably looking at like, Coach, you coach 6 NFL football teams and all of this and all of that. That doesn't make you a pro.
No.
That let them know that, hey, you can reach the highest level. But you still have to be a pro. So, Coach, Can you tell our viewers and our listeners, what do you mean by the title of the show today? What does it take to be a pro on and off the field?
When I was coaching at Texas Southern University, and I was the pro liaison, so the scouts would come in and they talk to me about the guys that they were looking at drafting or picking up as free agents, and there were questions that they'd ask, has the guy study? Can he handle money? How does he receive instruction? Is he disciplined? Is he a self-starter? So then in turn, I would ask the guys that were coaching or coming in, do you live to play or do you play to live? And if you play to live, you're going to die, because when you can't play anymore, you're going to die. If you live to play and you take out playing, then you're living in a certain way that you will be a good husband, you'll be a good son, you'll be a good brother, you'll be a good worker, you'll be a good boss, you'll be a good manager, you'll be a good friend, you'll be a good confidant. So how you live is really important, right? How you live, because you can play out, and that's the X factor. So being a pro means that you're professional in the way you carry on. I'm really big on yes and no. My parents are from the South, so they're yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. I'm a California kid, West Coast kid, and we grew up. I know how to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to my grandparents. But yes and no, you can say that. If you can't say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, that's not in your DNA, you can say yes and no. That goes a long way. Yeah, nah, no, not being a pro. Turning in homework late, not being a pro, when you know that you have something to do. It just carries over in the other facets of your life. So being a pro means you take care of things in your life that will cause you to reach certain goals that you have set for yourself. So that means you got to wake up and do things you don't feel like doing. If you do what you have to do, then you can do what you want to do. And a lot of people get that twisted. So being a pro has nothing to do with, there's a lot of guys that play pro ball or coach professional sports, but they're not professional coaches, professional football players. They kind of leave it on the shelf and leave it there. So they don't do the nuances within the profession. That's extra work, right? Study, film study, taking care of your body, going to bed at the right time, eating the right things, staying away from the riffraff, making good choices, making choices that might not be popular, might be uncomfortable. That's being a pro. That's what being a pro means. And it has really nothing to do with sports, because the product, the professional part, is the byproduct of how you live. Like when you live like a pro, you're going to be a pro. That's cut and dry. That's what we talk about here. So we come to meetings, we meet like a college and pro football team here at the school. You come in, you got to scout report. There's things you have to do. You have a time management sheet. You got to manage your time. I need to know what you're doing on the weekends. Not that I want to tell you what to do, but if you got 8 hours of chilling on Sunday and your grades are low, well, then you might need to chill a little less and study a little bit more. So we're going to work on that. So, because that's what you need in order to obtain the professional things that you want. Right? You want a nice house. Well, nice house don't come with broke pockets. Nice house come with full pockets. So you got to get the pockets full. How do you get the pockets full? You got to do things that can fill your pockets up. Nobody wants to hire a guy that's late all the time, is never prepared. You're not definitely going to get what you're worth. So you got to do things that make your value stand out, so people are chomping at the bit to get a piece of you, and you get what you're worth, because nobody's just going to give it to you. You got to show them that you're worth it, if that makes any sense.
Coach, now, it's just, and forgive me for smiling and laughing, man, but I have sit back and been in your classroom, watch, all of these things. Can you tell our viewers and listeners that all of this is not just equated to football, and you just hit on that, it's equated to life. So why is it important to set goals for yourself, and how do you communicate I'm talking about people in life, people around them, the family, etc., bosses, that you just can't just go out there on the fly and just expect to be successful in what you're doing if you don't set expectations and goals for yourself and develop that type of mindset that I can do this. But and I always talk about this thing called stickability. If you start something, you can't just up and just quit because you're like, oh, it ain't going my way. I ain't feeling good about this. I quit. And then you go and start something else. Can you, as a coach, come on now.
Well, in the profession I'm in,
What's your
there's always
words
somebody.
to our listeners on this?
In the profession I'm in, there's always somebody looking for your job. So you can have a bad day and get mad because the coach said something to you that you don't like. Well, there's a guy that's waiting, and it happens every Tuesday in the NFL. They bring guys in, they work them out, and they work them out with the mindset of replacing the dude that's complacent. So if you don't like, you show up right on time, Bill, well, you're pushing the limit. So let me go on and take this $750,000, $800,000 from you and give it to somebody that's willing to show up on time. Because that's all you got to do is show up on time. Your job is to show up, learn, run around, lift some weights, get big, eat well, and then play this game on Sunday. And if that's a struggle for you, then there's somebody that will definitely capitalize on that. So once again, quitting is not an option. In 2015, my coaching staff, and I know you know Coach Coleman and Coach Holt and some really strong men. We had a great staff, right? We took the word expectation out of our vocabulary. So I told the coaches that we're going to stop saying expectation. We're going to start saying standard. We're going to start saying the standard. So this is the standard. If you want to coach here at Linfield, there's a standard. So it's not just I hire you because you're my friend. I think you're a good coach. I am just simply taking the blueprint that I had to walk by and was put before me by my mentors. When I took the job at the University of Florida, Coach Spurrier sat me down and talked to me about life for 45 minutes to an hour. We didn't talk one thing about X's and O's. He wanted to know who Dechon was, what Dechon was about, what he stood for. Could he handle himself outside of, the swamp and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium? If I'm on the road and I got to recruit, who is that person? Because I represent just bigger than the Burns. I'm representing University of Florida, the Gator Nation, Coach Spurrier, all of that, SEC, the whole deal. Then he sent me down the hallway and said, okay, go talk to Coach Oaks about the X's and O's. So if I didn't get past the first part, I definitely wasn't going down the hall to go talk to that gentleman about how to tackle somebody or cover somebody. So we took the word expectation out because I think that's unfair. I can't expect you to be as into or as buried in or as committed to this team as I am as the head football coach. It's different. It's different. I'm responsible for the 43 bodies that we have. Their parents are relying on me to guide them and direct them, and we are we're surrogate dads in essence, because we're gonna have their children from 7:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. More, the high school coach has the kid more than the parents have the kid. So we got to give them back better than what we got them. So they're trusting in us to uphold the value, the values and morals that they have, or maybe in some cases teach them because they don't know. So there's a standard to be here. So you come, they want to work here. You're going to interview 3 times. I'm going to talk to you and find out who you are, even if it fits. Then we're going to come back and maybe talk some ball, take a little shot philosophy. Then I got to have you talk to the principal and the athletic director because they need to know who's on the campus representing them, representing the school. So if you can make it through that, then you might be worthy to coach here. But if at any junction you hem and haw and turn an ear, then you're not cut for this. It's okay. There's probably a place for you, but it's just not here. And that's just been the road in which I've traveled. And the people that were mentoring me and holding me to the standard. Bottom line is this, like quitting, man. That's quit, then you're always a quitter. You can quit one time, you'll be labeled a quitter. Just one time. That's all it takes. And you don't ever want that because you never had an opportunity to finish. And lastly, I talk to kids about you keep saying stickability. So we talk about perseverance. Some people call it grit.
Hey Coach, I need for you to hold your thought because I'm
Okay.
going to get beat up if I don't take a station break right now.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're going to come back with stickability, okay? And
All
we're
right.
going to pick up from the same topic that we're talking about right now. So I tell you what, I know. I'm looking at the numbers and they are incredible. But you guys are not coming. I see that around the world, many folks are watching, but you guys not coming. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you do is just go to whichever platform that you're on log on. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
We are not a charity. We are veterans. We are warriors, brothers, and sisters. We don't need, we deliver. Opsforvets.com. Handshakes, not handouts.
I'm Albert Renteria, Marine Chief Warrant Officer 4 retired, Ops for Vets CEO. I invite you to take a look at our organization. You'll quickly understand why out of thousands of groups currently serving our veterans, we have become the most rapidly growing and opportunity-rich team in the market. We have deployed dynamic distributors who are responsible for servicing and growing their regions, East, Central, and West. We provide a complete roster of high-caliber services, produced to create the results you require. Find us on the web at www.opsforvets.com. Handshakes, not handouts.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Make it 12.
It's your life, I tell you. Dechon, I don't know what you said or what you did, but I'm looking at the numbers over here, and it's something that you said that triggered the clock, the viewers, the amount of people watching the show just went up tenfold. And we haven't even got to the part where what it takes to become a pro, where you tell the story that I love about Lioness. But I'm expecting that it's going to even jump even further. But I tell you, we was talking about right before the last segment, and I tell you, my viewers, my listeners, I know, I told you I love this man. This man right here is, and he don't even know it. He don't know that. I know he said he look up to me, but I look up to him too. You know, he's my friend and a man of integrity, honesty, integrity, and ethics. And you all already know what my rules, my regulations, and I have to call them standards now. I mean, it can't be expectation. I'm changing that to these are standards. And coach, toward the end of the last segment, we were talking about stickability. We were talking about not quitting. We were talking about even when times get hard, things get rough. You mentioned something about if you might have $20 in the bank, and like, okay, I'm just going, I'm done. You can't. You
No, you
cannot,
can't quit. You can't
coach.
quit.
Pick it up, and then you know what I want you to go through next.
Yeah, well, as you're talking about that, I'm at school doing classes, so I'm sitting here with my
Oh, I'm
man,
sorry.
Dylan. No, it's okay. No. So Dylan Kane walks up, he's our safety, and we're just talking
Okay.
about we have a game today. We're talking
Let me
about a
see.
game today.
Let me see Dylan again. Let me see him.
Yeah,
How
Dylan.
you
So
doing,
Dylan.
Dylan?
What's up? Nice to meet you. Good. How are you?
Hey, nice to meet you, man. I tell you, one of these days, I'm coming in a couple of weeks. I hope I'll be able to meet you in person, and I want you to remember that.
All right, I'll remember that. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
All right.
Yeah, so he's our safety, and he came in sophomore year, freshman year. Was a soccer guy, like a heck of a soccer player, like really, really, really good, tenacious, hard nosed, didn't mind being physical, but didn't know squat about football, like really didn't. And just over the course of the year, began to learn, would come in my office and start asking questions, want to watch film. And it began to grow on him. Then you make a play or two, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you saw the spark, the light, and all of a sudden, coach, I love it. I love this football thing. I like playing. He's really good. He's a really good soccer player, like really good soccer player. And he was like, Coach, I love this football thing. He began to be better. And all of a sudden, he became one of our marquee players. Like on our back end, we're blessed. And we talk all the time about not quitting. And he hit a wall. And it's so good because God is good. I didn't plan for him to come sit down next to me. We're just talking about the game today. And he's like, Coach, I'm ready. If I got to get knocked out, then I got to get knocked out. But I'm all in. And it's twofold. He didn't understand like the nuances of the game, but he was committed into doing what it took to uphold that standard. And the success bred confidence, and he began to be more confident in his abilities and more focused on what he needed to get done, and has emerged as a leader. Now sitting on an offer from a university, which is allowing him to further his or continue to further playing the sport in his education and pursuing his education. And should he want to do it, he has an opportunity. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking, gave a little story about a man by the name of Farmer Jones. And Farmer Jones had a pig and a chicken. And they were having a meeting one day, and the pig and chicken were talking, and the chicken comes up to the pig and says, hey, we're really appreciative of Farmer Jones. We're going to take it on the side. We're really appreciative of Farmer Jones. Okay, really appreciate Farmer Jones. Farmer Jones is a great man. Takes care of us, feeds us, makes sure that the foxes don't get us, the whole deal. Let's give Farmer Jones some breakfast. So the pig is like, okay, let's give him some breakfast. So the chicken says, okay, let's do that. So pig says, well, what do you want to feed him? He said, let's go bacon and eggs. The pig is like, yeah, bacon and eggs. That sounds good. He's like, wait a minute, bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs? Well, we know how you got to get the egg, but the bacon call for full commitment. You got to be all the way in. The pig was like, I'm with it. Let's feed him bacon and eggs. That is the same mindset that you got to have when it comes back down to being a pro. Be all in, and once you're that way, you'll get busy living and not surviving, right? Like surviving, like you're just trying to hold the fort. You're trying to hold on. When you get busy living, you don't worry about surviving because you're on the attack. You're on the aggressive. Like you're taking names. You're handling business. So we talk about that all the time. And as you know, JC, I'm a big movie buff. I'm big on motivational stuff. And the kid, the guys have heard this story about putting your back against the wall and being uncomfortable. Like you gotta like having your back against the wall. You gotta like that. And with that being said, there's a movie, 300, and it's talking about King Leonidas and Spartans, and this is Spartan, 300. But the moment that Leonidas became a man, people forget this. Leonidas had to go out there and fight that wolf, that Arctic wolf. And the worst place Leonidas could be was like in the wolf's element, like in the frozen tundra out there in the prairie. That's what the wolf does. He hunts out there. Like that's his habitat. So Leonidas had to go get in that cave. He had to put his back against the wall, get back there, get uncomfortable, get nestled in that cave, and he had no option but to come out. Like he got it nestled in that cave.
Hey,
And
Coach, so what did he take in the cave with him?
He just took the stick.
What type of
He
tool?
had a makeshift spear. It wasn't a fine chiseled out spear. The boy was no more than 13 years old. He was a young fella, and he went in there with a stick with a pointy tip on it. In essence, we call it a loincloth or a diaper. He was barefoot out in the snow. So he goes into the tunnel or the cave, puts his back against the wall. And the wolf, I imagine the wolf is thinking, silly, I'm about to have this Leonidas sandwich right quick, and I'm going to tear him up. And Leonidas nestled in there, crooked his neck a little bit, took a deep breath, got comfortable, settled in. And that wolf came in there and got another story told. And so as the story would go, Leonidas came out and had wolf shoes, wolf coat, and was King Leonidas, came back a man. You got to be willing to put your back against the wall and be uncomfortable. And we talk about it all the time. Dylan's here to tell you, we talk about being uncomfortable all the time. So we create situations where you got to be uncomfortable. We're going to run. We're going to do things over and over and over. And the guys know what this means. It's the little things. The little things have the greatest impact. So we're going to focus on the little stuff. From toes on the line, to putting your hand down at the same time, to sprinting, to finishing at the football, to being where you need to be, to understanding your assignment, to communicating, to saying thank you, to saying yes and no fully. I think we were talking about that earlier. Just say yes and no, not nah. It's either yes or yes. So if I'm talking and you say yeah, I'm gonna say yeah or yes, and they no. And the beautiful thing is, as you watch the team, they begin to correct each other. So if a new guy comes in and says, sorry about that. If a new guy comes in, he says, yeah, the team's like, yeah or yes. Hey, man, it's yes, because that's the standard. So in essence, they're working on being a pro each and every day. Not everybody's going to go off and play college football, but the kids go off and they graduate and they're doing well in life outside of, so they're professional in their own careers, whatever it is. You mentioned Greg Holt earlier. He had a great career at Telstra University, graduated with his degree. He's doing very well in Texas. Kevin Yu is another one that you had the pleasure of meeting. Kevin Yu is running 2 or 3 businesses now, having graduated and played college ball. Gabe Westall is doing well. That was one of the first ones back in the day. Gabe Westall and Austin Lee. Austin's now a doctor in New Zealand. He graduated, finished at Occidental College.
Austin is a doctor like his dad?
Austin is a doctor. Austin Lee is a doctor. Yes, he is. Went and played at Occidental College, was on the last team that Occidental had before they stopped the program. Went through all the challenges. They're going to kill the program. They're going to 86. They're going to stop it. He petitioned to fight to keep it one more season. Young man graduated and is a doctor in I want to say New Zealand or something like that. He's overseas, but he's working on his getting his doctorate. So the being a pro part is simply being a pro, like doing things that pros would do. And it's not about the flash and the money. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the W's and L's. We talk about living a certain way that will reap the benefits. And it's not even about self. It's about taking care of those next to you. So why do I do what I do? I love my kids. And that's one of my kids. So I love them to death. And I will do what it takes. I'm sidebarring for a second. We talk about this at every game. Give me everything you have.
Hey, Coach, hold that thought. I got to take this last commercial break, or I got to get paid. So give me a second or so. We get back. We'll probably have better 5 minutes to go, but
okay.
I want you to continue this conversation. I tell you, wow! If you want to have a part 2 Coach Burns, which I do, you guys just let me know. Just click on and say, hey, you got to get him on part 2 at his earliest convenience so we can finish this conversation. So we're going to take a station break, but we're going to be back. This is going to be a short station break. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooler, my man, Coach Dechon Burns. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And hey, Coach, maybe I shouldn't have said that because I'm getting an overwhelming of responses like part 2, please. And I ain't gonna be able to put the other 150, 200 up there. But there's so much that I think we need to have this conversation again and continue.
No problem.
And continue to lead. And maybe what that young man Dylan at?
Dylan's right here.
Hey Dylan, come over toward the coach. Come on, don't be scared. Yeah,
I'm right here, Coach. I'm right here.
Maybe a coach. Next time we have this meeting, we get a couple of young players like Dylan, and not just the players, but I'm talking about members of the school, because I love Linfield. I've been a part of you guys' organization for quite some time. To come on and tell their story as well. What are your thoughts, Coach?
Oh, definitely. Whatever you need, JC, we'll get it done. You say the word and we'll make it happen.
Wow. So this has been so impactful, so powerful. And just looking at watching, you don't see what I see, Coach. Just watching the responses on here, it's like, this is incredible. I mean, it's incredible. And Coach, we only got about 2.5 minutes left in the show. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners 3 takeaways that they might want to consider after listening to this great interview and conversation with you?
Well, I'll just give you what my father taught me. Bottom line is never quit. Keep your word and give everything you have. Never quit. Keep your word and give everything you have. It's real simple. Never quit. Never quit. Keep your word and give everything you have.
Yeah, so
because all you have in this world is your name and your word, right? That's all you have is your name and your word. So, keep your word and protect your name.
So I want to close out with this, viewers and listeners. As you see, I told you earlier when I was doing a show earlier today that honesty, integrity, and ethics. Honesty, integrity, and ethics is what Coach just said. Honesty, first of all, you got to be honest with yourself. integrity, you got to keep your word. And you have to do the right things when you're the only one in the room. Ethics is you got to care for others as well. And you have to follow a standard. That's what Coach called it, a standard.
Yes.
Expectations. I understand what Coach means by expectation, but I'll tell you what. I want to thank Coach Dechon Burns for taking the time to come on the show. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely tremendous, wonderful show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. You guys keep doing this. I tell you, my subscriber list just went past 22,000. And I tell you, we're gonna get Coach back on real soon if he have the time. But we got to close out right now.
Definitely. You make the call.
Hey, Coach,
you make the call, JC, and I'm there.
Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. Is your life. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley.